Here is where I will be giving my presentation and the objects that are in my presentation. Here is the audience I will be speaking from. Hello. My name is Collin Callihan, and this speech is for my human communications class. Throughout this video, I'll be talking about all the aspects of hunting, from the preparation to the safety to the beauty of nature and actually harvesting the white-tailed deer. The reason why I hunt is because whenever I kill a deer, I'm able to harvest my own meat and harvesting the leanest meat available. Unlike a steak or a hamburger, whenever I get the meat back from the deer, whether it be tenderloin, steaks, or a neck roast, I know who handled that meat, what kind of spices went in the meat, and where it's been and where it actually came from. The first step of hunting is preparing to hunt. To actually hunt, you first have to either have a rifle or have a bow. Whenever you're using that equipment, you have to make sure that it's sighted in order to kill the animal. After you have sighted in either your bow or your gun, you then go and hang a stand, whether it be a ladder stand, a lock-on stand, or a box blind on a piece of property where you think the white-tailed deer are moving through. Once you have your stand hung, usually you put out different types of feed, whether it be a corn pile to get the deer in, or a salt block, or a pile of minerals, or even some people go to the extent of planting food plots where they'll till the ground and grow brassica, ryegrass, clover, etc. The next step is actually sitting in the stand. When you're in the stand, you're able to take in God's beautiful nature, if it's the birds singing, or the sound of the water flowing through the creek, or just the noise of the wind blowing through the trees. Whenever you're sitting in the stand, you want to be quiet and on cue, because any sudden movement that you make in the stand, a deer will pick it up. And also, when you're in the stand, you need to know where the wind's blowing so that the deer does not sense you and get spooked and run off, so you can kill the deer. The nature that you're able to see while sitting in a deer stand it's unbelievable, because you're able to see animals that you don't see every day when you're driving on the highway going from school to work, and it's beautiful being out there and sitting for hours and being able to watch them. Whenever you do see a deer, there's a fine line between selecting the right deer from its size to its weight, and also as the sport progresses on and more people get into hunting, they have put limitations on the deer, on either if you can shoot a buck or a doe. But whenever you select the right animal that you decide to harvest, it's good to know where to shoot it at so you do not mess up your meat. Whenever you do shoot at the animal in front of you, depending on the size and which one you want out of maybe a select few, or if one only comes in by itself, you want to shoot right behind the front shoulder so that it kills the deer, and maybe it'll wound its heart so that it'll die faster. Whenever you do kill the animal, a lot of work comes in after that. First, you have to sit in your stand for approximately an hour to an hour and a half whenever you shoot the animal, depending on the shot that you made. Whenever you get down out of your stand to track the deer, you have to first recall the situation of when you shot, from where it ran to, and which direction it was headed, and what obstacles might it try to hide from you in, or what obstacles it might try to lay on to stop the bleeding. Usually you'll walk to where you first shot the animal and look for blood. When tracking a deer, it is super hard because they can bleed a little bit or a lot, and that's just depending on the shot that you made and the actual deer. Whenever tracking a deer, it's good to look for ruffled leaves, the blood trail, And if you are able to find the deer that you shot at, that's when the true hard work comes into play. Once you have the deer, you have to, what I call, gut it or get all the intestines, including the heart out, the heart, the bladder, the liver, everything, and that is called field dressing the deer. You do that so whenever you're hauling the animal out of the woods or taking it to the person that processes it, whether it be you or a company, you do that so that the internal organs do not ruin the meat of the deer so that it's edible after a long period of time. Whenever you go to process it, the processor will ask you how you want your deer cut up, and that is honestly the final step of hunting, because you have the deer and you get to tell them what meat you want to have the deer cut out of, and that can either be back straps, tenderloin, steaks, and everything cut out of the deer. But those are the steps of hunting, and throughout hunting, I like to hunt because it gives me a thrill. It's a very wild, beautiful creature that it's honestly really hard to kill. So through all of them aspects and preparation and just the beauty of nature, through all that, it's really a beautiful thing to shoot an animal and be able to say that I shot this and that I put the effort into this hunt to retrieve this animal. And those are the steps and the beautiful aspects of nature of whitetail hunting.